Wait. Going on here. Is this the barbershop? Is this the barbershop?
Yes, shop.
This is the barbershop.
Yeah.
This ain't nothing but healthy conversation. It ain't nobody healthy conversation. It ain't nobody It ain't nobody healthy conversation. It ain't nobody This ain't nothing but it. This ain't nothing but it. This ain't nothing but it. Healthy conversation. Healthy conversation. It ain't nobody healthy conversation. Healthy conversation. Yo, we in this thing, yin yang in this thing.
Sound good, don't it, Brace?
What up, man?
Feel good to say that, huh?
Feel good to say it, man.
Yeah.
What's happening, dog?
What's going on?
Man, you know how we do it. You know
This
how we do
is,
it. Barbershop talk.
man, say it again one more time.
Barbershop talk
With Jeff and
Jeff
Fre,
and
man.
Fre.
It's been a
What's
hot
up?
minute, y'all.
Yeah.
Been a hot
Hey, we apologize. You know, we got things going on. It's summertime. You know, you got to kick it with the kids, and you know, Fre doing his daddy thing. I'm doing my daddy thing.
Yeah,
my business
man.
Thing. You know, we doing adult things.
We're
been doing adult
adulting.
things.
Yeah,
we're adulting.
The thing about doing a podcast, and I remember when we first started, we jumped into it. You know, we came up with the 3 C's. I ain't never heard nobody else say it, so we coining that.
We're
right?
coining that.
The
We're
3
coining
C's of a good podcast
Yeah.
is content, character, and consistency.
Mm-hmm.
We always give y'all good content. Of course, we got the character. You know Jeff, you know me. We're 2 different brothers, but it works. It clicks. And the only thing that, you know, the consistency is when you have more than just this going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like some people wake up to have to prep for this. They all day long, they getting ready to, they writing their scripts.
Yeah,
They getting all of their production and their ads and all that
Ain't
together.
no scripts.
And all of that, like with us, it's like we do it for fun. Like we've been telling people, like, if we really sat back and put this thing together like it's supposed to be put together, then, you know, we probably could capitalize off of it monetarily and move it to networks and all of that. But this is genuinely just conversations you and I have, bro.
Yeah.
And like I said, man, we appreciate all of those people who tap in, even the people who sit there and say, hey, yo, when y'all coming back on? When y'all, what's up? Where's Barbershop Talk?
They be missing us. They be missing us.
Yeah, brother. So
We miss y'all too.
for sure, man. But like you said, we've been adulting. Bro got some stuff going on. You know, I just had Kyle coming through, finishing up middle school, getting ready for high school.
Yeah.
Man, and so, you know, it's been some stuff that needs our attention more than this 1 hour that we give y'all. But when we give y'all this 1 hour, we give y'all good stuff. So, you know, there it is. What's up, big dog?
Man, you know.
Tell me a little something.
Doing this thing, man, trying to get back to my youth, man. You know, I've been back in this gym.
Yeah.
Trying to get back. You know, it's really more taking care of my body, you know, and wanting to feel like I normally feel. I haven't been feeling, you know, like I normally feel. You know, the little. It was more like I was just like being lazy, like. Yeah. And I was like, man, I ain't no lazy dude, man. I got to get up and do some things. So I got back in the gym, man. I've been back in the gym since October. And shout out to my trainer, Tim Sneed. He might pop in here. But, yeah, I've been doing good, man. I'm doing real good, man. And I got some other things I've been working on, you know.
And that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
We're talking about that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you know how we do, man. We start off, cool down, let y'all know what's been going on with us and where we've been and know, how we've been doing and all that, the pleasantries, you know, the stuff we owe y'all. But we truly miss y'all. Shout out to the Fishers. Shout out to Mr. Lewis. Shout out to Lex. Shout out to all of the people who normally tap in, you know, and we appreciate y'all. And for those who are just now watching for the first time, you know, this is what we do. Welcome to Barbershop with Jeff and Fre.
Yes, sir. I am the barber.
And I am the artist. And this is how we do it.
Talk.
Now, today, we're going to do this barbershop thing a little bit different. You know, normally we have a topic. Y'all see our little No Limit 2000 flyers I be making. You know, hey, I'm trying, you know. But anyway, y'all normally get a flyer in the barbershop page.
Mastered the P.
Yeah, I mastered the P, you know. So, you know, y'all normally get a flyer that lets y'all know what we got going on. And, you know, once we give y'all a topic, that's the dialogue between me and my brother over there. Yeah. But today we're going to do something a little different. I'm getting my first shot at this, y'all, so y'all just bear with me. Matter of fact, if I look down at my phone and I see a question that y'all want me to ask, then we'll do that too. But, you know, I ain't mic shy, and I ain't afraid to speak either. So we're going to do something different today. This is not dialogue. This is not a topic we come up and Jeff's telling his feelings, and I'm telling you mine. This is actually an ode paying homage and appreciation to the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jeffrey, world-class Barber Davis.
Thank you.
This is what this show is about. So I'm about to get my Shannon Sharp on today. This is not Club Shay Shay, but Club Fre Fre.
Club Fre Fre.
Club Fre Fre. So as we get ready to embark on this weekend, this weekend, my guy is celebrating 12 years as owner of Astute Gentleman Barber Cigar Lounge. Now, to some, say, 12 years as a business is a hell of a lot different when you're talking about something that this city, from a person that wasn't even originally born in this city, has brought to this city and the state of Texas. That's grandfathered in. Nobody else, if they doing it now, it's a copycat. Right. And I know this brother. So the things that I'm going to speak on, I didn't have to Wikipedia it. I had to Google none of that. This is what I know that is facts. So this weekend, July 5th, if you're not doing anything, what's the address? I should know it by now.
14223 Inwood Road, Farmers Branch, Texas.
We're going to be
75244.
There it is. We're going to be doing a little
Google us.
Google it. Yeah.
Google us.
You know, we're going to do a little celebration for the boy. So, you know what I'm saying? Come on out and help us celebrate this brother. This is a milestone. And I'm going to just jump right into it, man. 12 years, Astute Gentleman, Barber Cigar Lounge, right?
Yes, sir.
So, who is Jeffrey Davis?
Who?
Let's start off from your youngin', your youth. Like, where were you born originally? Because you're not originally from here.
No, sir. No, sir.
So where were you born originally?
I was originally born. I was not originally born. That's
yeah. Where are you from? Yeah, I was originally born.
Right. I was born in Milwaukee. Raised in Sarasota, Florida. I would give a shout out to a couple of people in Milwaukee. They know who they are. Shout out to all of the Milwaukee people that are now here in Dallas. Shout out, much love to everybody, man. Sarasota, Florida is where I grew up at. That's home for me.
So that's home?
That's home to me.
So give or take, how old were you? From 5?
4 or 5, something like that.
All through high school. That was home, right?
Up to high school, yeah. Up to high school, my junior year. We was kind of back and forth in middle school, back and forth to Milwaukee because, you know, the parental status, you know, who wanted what and blah, 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 blah. So we was kind of back and forth. After a while, it just became, you know, Milwaukee.
Two-parent home?
Well, not two-parent. Well, two-parent homes in 2 separate houses. So my dad was in Florida.
Okay.
And my mom was in Milwaukee. So at a point, my dad had us for quite a while, and then we started going back and forth visiting Milwaukee. Going to
where your mom
summer
was?
school. That's where my mom was. Yeah. So in the midst of that, you know, I was teaching myself how to cut hair.
At what age did you? At what age did you
10.
10.
10, 11.
Who was your first client? Do you remember?
Me.
You was your
I
first?
I was my first client.
Boy, you look like one of these sockets. You was plugged up.
Yeah, I mean, if I ever cut a plug in my hair, I just went bald.
At that age?
Yeah, I was like, I messed up. I went bald.
Wow.
Yeah, and then
how many times do you had to go to school like that, like bald? I know they was cracking.
Yeah, plenty of times. Then I came to school with my name in the back of my head. I had cut my name in the back of my head. It just said J, but it was backwards. So I was so it was backwards, and they was like, man, that's dope, that's cool, man, but it say Yage, and I was like, huh? So after school, I went home, cut it all off, and started all over.
So when as you was honing that craft at that age, did you ever think like, yeah, this is like? Let me ask you a question. As a youth, and you're a little bit older than me, but so as a youth, we were a lot more active growing up. We was outside. We rode bikes. There was so many activities for us to do outside.
Yeah.
So growing up at that point, were you more outside? What made you hone in on that craft in particular at such a young age, though?
I just, my dad was messing my hair up.
Oh, okay.
My dad was cutting my hair, and he was giving me this. Shout out to my pops, man. That's my dude. But he was giving me this chili bowl. It just wasn't what I liked.
Right.
And so I was like, let me borrow, can I use your clippers?
Right.
And that's where it started at. And it was bad, man. It was
So you were youngin' at that age, experimenting on your own head.
Yeah.
And as you continue to do it,
right.
Did it ever get better? I'm pretty sure your first original cuts was like college cuts, though, right?
Yeah. No. High school. I won my very first haircutting contest at Marshall High School in Milwaukee.
What grade was that?
That was my senior year of high school.
Senior year, okay.
Yeah.
So you never did cut like any of the athletes, none of the football guys come to you all through high school?
All through high school on the team, even in Florida. Cut a few guys in Florida. One of the things that I was getting ready to say was football was my thing. Football was my thing. And I always said that if I went to the NFL, when I retire, I was going to open a barbershop. And if I didn't go to the NFL, I was going to open a barbershop. So I've always said that.
This was always the goal. So you spoke this in existence young. Man, that's crazy because the pen, sometimes the tongue is mightier than the pen.
Yeah.
You saying that.
When you say it, and then you know what you're doing, and being in the barbershop at a young age. So I got my first job in the barbershop when I was 14 and working around the old heads, and it was just something that I honed in on and got an opportunity to listen to the old heads and learn and watch and shout out to Ray's Clippers in Milwaukee.
I was just about to ask you that. So Ray's Clippers and Barber, that's what it was called?
It was just Ray's Clippers.
Ray's
Clippers.
A barbershop.
Oh yeah.
So you know how when you start learning something, there's somebody to mimic.
Yeah.
Who was the guy? Was
Ray.
it him?
It was Ray. Yeah, it was Mr. Ray. Mr. Ray, he taught me the straight razor young. By the time I was 17, I was pretty cold with the razor.
Man.
Straight, and he would give me the razor and shave the balloons, like something. If I'm not doing anything, shaving balloons, tape them to the countertop and put shaving cream on them. He would show me how to apply the lather. Like anybody that sees me now, it's like a one.
Oh yeah, man. We'll get into that because we'll get into that. But I want y'all to know further down the line, once we get to the end, if you go on YouTube, there's actually a video of you doing a straight raise. And what was the time?
No, it's actually on my Instagram page.
Okay. What was the time? The time was
2 minutes and 41 seconds
on a straight rake. Man,
straight razor head.
That's what. You had to practice it on the balloon.
Yeah,
you was busting them joints at first.
Pow, pow, pow. But yeah, I mean, learning, just honing in on the skills, man. You pick up, you see stuff, you pick up a thing, and you see stuff, and you want to be better at it. You don't want to be bad at it.
Right.
You know, everything I do, I just want to be good. I mean, greatness comes with time.
Right.
So you just want to be good at it. And I just always wanted to be good at it.
So with football being your first passion, your love for it, did you play Pop Warner or any of that stuff?
I played
before you got to high school?
Florida. In Florida, it's the Redskins League. It's the little league.
Right.
So I played Redskins for Pawnee High School. Not high school, but Pawnee it's like age groups, and it was like 15 teams, and then it was the big league was like 15 teams, and I played for Pawnee. I played nose guard, believe it or not, and I played for Chippewa, and I don't even remember what I played for Chippewa, but either way, you know, I had been playing football, and then when I got to middle school in Sarasota, I played there for a little bit, and then I played some high school football in Sarasota. Then I moved. I moved my freshman year. I did in Milwaukee at Madison High School, and coming from Florida, football was different. We trained different in Florida, so I ended up playing freshman and probably about 5 games varsity football as a receiver, and then I went back to Florida my sophomore and junior year, and honed in on my skills on the football field some more. Came back to Milwaukee my senior year, and was the #1 receiver in the state.
See, so when you start getting them looks right there, was barber like at the point that your first love and your passion came to the forefront? Was it ever a point in your life that decision that you made? Because you always said, regardless of if I make it to the NFL or I don't, I'm still going to open a barbershop. Did that did barbering and cutting hair kind of take a back seat when football really started popping? Because I can imagine you started getting college looks. Right?
And going to I mean, cutting hair was just always a thing. It was just always a thing. I mean, even when I graduated senior year of high school, man, I was in the locker room cutting the fellas' hair. You know, we cut for a big game, homecoming or something like that. Before the game, man, I'm edging guys up, putting designs in their head or something. Or Friday after practice, you know, it was always a thing. You know, and by the time I got to college, it was a thing again. You know, just cutting the fellas' hair, and you know, they would come, hey, man, who cut your hair? Who cut your hair? And it was, I cut my own hair.
Man, and so. Okay, so in all of that time you cutting hair in high school, when was the first time you did it for profit? Because I'm going somewhere, because I'm pretty sure the very first time that you earned that $1,
my
or
senior
that
year.
$5. Oh, so the first time you started actually charging?
No, actually, the reason I got the job in the barbershop is because I was cutting the fellas' hair in the neighborhood.
Oh, so you was cutting for free?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So
$2 or $3.
Yeah. So what was the most heads your first start as a barber receiving money for it? How many heads did you cut? It was a low ball.
It was a low ball. It was a low ball, but it was. You know, I wouldn't call it peanuts because it was part of what I did.
Right.
But it was. You know, it was enough for Ray to say, "Hey, man,
get up in here.
Yeah, come on." You
so
know,
back then,
my step-pops took me on my birthday. He took me to the local barbershop. He said, "Man, he cutting all the fellas' hair in the neighborhood."
He gave you a spot in there?
Yeah.
So back in them days, you didn't have a license?
No.
Man, you know what? I think about that now. Like them old heads back when I was young.
Yeah.
They probably didn't weren't licensed barbers. I'm trying to think. Maybe you can help me out. Like, back in the day, them old heads when we was young, like how was they even, what would they have done to become a licensed barber?
I have no idea.
That's kind of wild, huh? Because now everything is, you got to have some piece of paper in here saying that you, but I don't think Mr. Kavanaugh, shout out to him, rest in peace, but I don't think Mr. Kavanaugh had more jet beauties and nude pics
on
hanging
the wall.
up. Mr. Kavanaugh, he used to pop me in the back of the neck with the comb for look down, don't look up. Like, he had his whole wall plastered with these Lola Falanas and naked, bro. I'm like, he's like, look down. But I don't think them cats went through proper protocol.
Yeah, I mean, like if you're thinking about that and just understand, when I moved to Texas, and we're going to get to that part, but when I moved to Texas in 08, one of the states that I had thought about moving to was Alabama. And Down south. And in Alabama, they just in 2010 got state regulated barber and cosmetology.
In what year?
In 2010.
Oh man, they was down there cutting heads.
So you can imagine what was going on up north,
right?
Or back in the day in the 70s and 80s, who was working with barber license,
right?
Yeah. So I never paid attention to that.
That's great. Yeah. So when you got up in Mr. Ray's shop, who was mostly your clientele? Your kids, homies?
Kids, yeah, and some of the dudes from the football team.
And kids
from the neighborhood, yeah.
All right, man. Yeah. So you was flipping that little 3.
Yeah.
You started kind of probably seeing a little bit more change once you got in there.
Once I got in there, and it was mostly summertime.
Oh,
it was mostly summertime or off season, like not football season. When it wasn't football season, I would go in there Saturday, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Cutting hair.
Young
Till what time? Like all day. Till he closed.
Till 3 o'clock. Because I wanted to go kick it.
Oh yeah, you was still a kid.
Yeah, I was still a kid. So the kids was normally coming early in the morning, and after 3, you get them guys, and they're like kind of like we do here.
Yeah.
Guys in here smoking on Saturdays after 12 o'clock. After 12 o'clock, I don't get no kids. I don't get a lot of kids.
Right.
The kids that I get now after 12 o'clock are the ones that I've been cutting since I've been in Dallas. Wow. And they're older now, going to high school, going to college, stuff like that. So they understand, what their uncle do.
What's your personality like? For those that don't know Jeffrey Davis, what kind of personality do you have? Let's dive into the whole. I'm a Gemini. Let's get all into that. So
I'm a Leo.
Okay.
So I mean, I'm not really all off into the zodiac stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm exactly when I think about what a Leo is, what a lion is, I'm that. I'm that. I'm cool. I'm just don't fuck with me. I just have to say it. But I'm cool. I'm laid back. If you aggravate me, it's some things gonna happen.
Right.
And I tell everybody, when I make that reference about the lion, I'm not the lion in the zoo behind 4 feet glass.
Right. You don't want
the lion in the jungle.
Right.
I'm here for it. So I don't play. I'm cool though.
Right.
I'm cool. I'm a real laid back dude. I do and have grown up to have a bit of an attitude. A lot of people say, smile, nigga, smile. I'm like,
but I'm going somewhere with that because this is a barber is like customer service, bro.
Yeah.
You can't be a barber and not have a personality. Bro.
Right. So I'm a helper though. I mean I'm everything that you can think of when it comes to barbering.
Counselor,
all of that stuff. My dad is a preacher, man. I grew up in the church.
Right.
And my dad's been a preacher all my life. My dad is my best friend, and I can call. Matter of fact, I talked to him 3 times today. But we talk about scripture, and that's the one thing that has really humbled me and helped me change with the attitude and help me learn how to utilize my strengths to overcome the nonsense.
So when you were at school, were you like that guy? Were you like one of the popular cats?
Yeah.
Or were you one of the little duck-off cats? It's cool, let me get out of school and go. Or were you one of the ones who's every nook and corner, there go Jeff, there go Jeff, there go Jeff?
Matter of fact, my senior year of high school, I worked a 3rd shift job. So after football season was over, I had some spats with my moms, and I ended up having to, leave. And I worked a 3rd shift job, man. I come in from the 3rd shift job, and I go straight to school. My first 2 classes was study hall. So I had the study hall to get some rest, and the study hall to get my homework, and then I had gym, so I could take a shower and be ready for the rest of the day.
So, okay. Now you cutting heads like this young in the barbershop and Mr. Ray's. So did you watch him? Like when I say did you watch him for the personality's sake, seeing as how you wasn't really that, so you kind of honed in on how he dealt with his customers.
Yeah,
because a person that doesn't really have a personality or a person that doesn't really talk, you boxed in.
Yeah, you're not.
You know what I'm
gonna,
saying?
You're not going to be. If you're not a people person, you won't be successful in this business.
There you go.
You won't.
Good.
So I am a people person. I don't meet any strangers. I don't meet a stranger, but I'll treat you like a stranger when need be.
Gotcha.
You know. So everybody I meet, I'm cool with. Everybody, I make friends, you know, and that is my intentions, to make friends. I want my clients to be comfortable.
Right.
And you want to know your clients. You never know who you got in your chair.
Right.
And the conversations that we have in the shop, you never know who's here, and somebody is able to help you or help a friend, and you log all of those things in your memory. So when you need it, you know who you can call.
Gotcha.
So you build those relationships, man, and Fred is he can attest to this, man. It's been things that have happened in this shop, and I just put it out there, and just all of a sudden there's a guy in here that does it.
Right.
You know? So
right. You know
it's like, and like I said, you never know.
Right.
So it's but you gotta have a personality. You gotta be able to talk to people and communicate with people and just not be a guy that's just cutting hair.
And you got that spirit watching Mr. Ray as it developed.
Now,
let's fast forward. High school, right? Football player.
Yes, sir.
Barber on the back end, still
Yes,
making your little change of that. Football's going great.
Yeah.
College.
I went to
on a football scholarship?
Football scholarship.
Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Football scholarship. So first, shout out to my daughter. My daughter was born when I was walking across the stage. What happened is, in order for me, I entered into the delayed entry program, and the delayed entry program, I was going to go to the Navy, and I was going to play football for the Navy. Hayden Fre, and those that know who Hayden Fre is, coach at University of Iowa, he came to me and he said, you know, I can't tell you not to go, but if you don't graduate on time from high school, you can't go. So I didn't graduate on time. I ended up graduating during the summer. He gave me a scholarship.
Full ride?
Yeah. They came to the house, man, and sat at the house. I did go to a junior college first. And normally you would have to go to the junior college for 2 years. I only went for one. And so we a lot of things has changed now. If you go to junior college, you got to go for 2 years.
Gotcha.
But Hayden Fry, man, kept tabs on me, man, looked out for me. So I ended up going after my first year at Iowa Central in Fort Dodge, Iowa. I went to Iowa City.
And you played ball there?
And I played ball there. Receiver.
Okay.
So from high school to now, all right, Fred, take it easy, buddy. From high school to now.
My guy.
From high school to the end of my career, I actually retired in 06. I played receiver. So, from middle school, I played running back a couple of times, but I was more receiver. And that was my thing. The college? No, I didn't finish college, man.
So
if I had finished college, I would have definitely went to the league.
Right.
So,
but what people don't know that I know is that you actually had an opportunity to go to the league.
So I played in Canada. I dropped out of college. I went back to Florida and got a workout. One of my cousins knew some people and got me a workout for the Canadian League. So I played Canadian League for the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And I came home for break, you know, and ran out of money, started doing stuff, and
got in trouble.
Yeah.
Got arrested.
Got arrested. Got in trouble. Got arrested. Went to prison.
What was that stint like? Going to prison? How long were you in there for?
So, what I was doing was making cashier's checks.
Right. Oh, that'll get you in there.
Yeah, that'll get you in there. So I ended up getting 4 years. I only did 2.5.
Mm-hmm.
I did 2.5 state time. And when I got out, I had a last shot. I had one last shot. And I knew, according, talking to my agent and talking to some people, the NFL ain't touching you after 26.
Right. That's a downer. You're old by then.
Yeah, so I had 2 years. When I got out of prison, I had 2 years to
show him something.
So I played some semi-pro, and I got to work out with the Bears. And worked out with the Bears, and they invited me to come back. And now, being invited to come back is a huge thing. Back then it was like you could walk on at an NFL camp. You could just go. So I worked out with them guys, Deontay Jones, R.W. McQuarters. I'm working out with them guys, man. And man, I got invited to come back in February 8th.
My birthday.
February 8th, man. The feds knocked on my door 3 o'clock in the morning and arrested me for some allegations.
Right.
And I'm like, I said, man, I have no idea what you're talking about. No idea what you're talking about. Now, I had a big old, in my apartment, I had a big old table in my living room where all of my paperwork and documents were. So I used to also cut hair at home. So that was keeping me out of trouble. I work at the shop all day, and then I go work out, get my football practice in, whatever, and then I come home on my off days from football. I'll cut hair at home. So that was kind of like a VIP thing that I had going on. And it was a white boy. I had a client, man. He was a white boy, man. And come to find out, this white boy was robbing banks. And one thing led to another. The white boy broke into my house. And I found out that he had broken into my house. And I whooped him. He told the feds I drove the getaway car for his bank robberies.
Yikes.
And they took me to jail. And
that ended Joe.
That ended it. That was it for me.
So humbly, after that, you was like, I'm done here.
I'm done.
So you got locked up.
Yeah, I did 18 months.
You did 18 months. Yeah. But was that your most lengthiest stint in jail?
No, I did the 2 years.
You did
2.5 years before that. Then I got out, and then I did 18 months in feds.
In the feds.
Yeah.
And that put the F on you. That put the felony on you right there.
Well, the state, the first one was a felony.
So then you get hit with the 18 months, and it's like, boom, football career gone.
Football career
done.
Done.
No Chicago Bears, no looks, nothing, nowhere else.
No nothing.
So you do the 18 months, and you come out.
I come out, and I while I was in, after I got done, and believe it or not, after I got done crying for a couple months, because I knew I was in. Yeah. I knew I was in.
Right.
After that, I sit down in the joint, man, and do what I needed to do. And my goal was to get out and open my own barbershop.
There it is. Because you said, if I make it to the pros, when I retire, I'm going to have a barbershop. And if I don't make it to the pros, you see how that aligned?
Yeah.
Even though you had to go sit down for a minute.
Yeah.
So you get out after the 18 months.
When I got out, like I said, my goal was to open my own barbershop in 5 years.
Okay, so after the 18 months, let's just say, just speeding it up for time's sake, 18 months, you out, you done, and your goal is to open your own shop.
Yeah.
Where were you at this point? You weren't here yet.
I was in Milwaukee.
You was in Milwaukee. Okay.
Yeah, so this 99. So this 99.
99, you
February 98 into July 99.
You was,
and then I was,
and that was in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and then that was in Milwaukee, and then I got out, and the first thing I did was find a barbershop to work at. And one of my boy Reggie, man, shout out to Reggie Townsend. We was tight. So Reggie, he saw the hustle.
Moses, we getting there.
He saw
Moses said, "Talk about how you came up with. We getting there."
Oh yeah, That's gonna.
I'm doing my Club Fre thing. So I'm. Let me tell you something. Let me just stop and pause for a second, because in society we get so engulfed in the Tyler Perrys, the Oprahs, and all of these people, and you don't know that there are hometown heroes that are just as big in the eyes of us regular people, as I would say, as a Tyler Perry or a Oprah or a Denzel Washington. But we don't know their story. And a lot of times when a person is getting ready to celebrate 12 years of something that has never been created, the people want to know how. Yeah. How did you even get here? God brought you from something to get you right here.
Yeah.
It didn't just happen overnight. So I know y'all got y'all questions, and I know for time's sake I'm running it down there, but we going to get to why this guy is who he is and does what he does. Because truth be told, I ain't a sack rider. This is my brother. I love him. This is my friend. But at the same time, what he's done and because I ain't never seen no shit like this. I ain't going to even lie to you.
Right.
When I first met you, I just thought you had, hey, like this brother got a barbershop. I walk in here as a humidor in there. I was already in heaven.
Yeah.
But I wasn't coming there to get cuts. I had some other stuff going on. We had another podcast in here.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was in awe that I ain't never seen nothing like this in Dallas.
Right.
So here you are. You cutting hair after the 18 months. Were you still in Milwaukee when you were cutting hair?
Yeah, I was still in Milwaukee. I started working at a barbershop called Hair Masters.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just running through, the skills that I had and I honed in on the skills and I just was good, man. It just took off. So that year, going into the summer, I got out in June. Going into towards the end of the year, there's a hair show in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And so that year, the owner of the shop, he said, "Jeff, man, we should get you in, the Proud Lady Hair Show. Proud Ladies Hair Show is one of the biggest hair shows in Chicago back then."
Mm-hmm.
And that was the first hair show. I did the Proud Lady, and then I did the Midwest Hair Show the next year. Those was the last two hair shows I did. But the Proud Lady Hair Show, I did the fastest barber contest.
Mm.
And this fastest barber contest is coming off of, in August, the kids was going back to school, and I cut 98 heads in one day. From 6:30 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night, I cut 98 heads.
Oh.
And the owner was like, "Hey, boom, 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 we get you in this," So then I go win the Proud Lady Hair Show, fastest barber in the Midwest, at under 5 minutes, ball fade under 5 minutes, and it was just on from there.
So now you was like, I'm a full-fledged barber, baby.
Yeah,
I'm winning
let's go.
hair shows.
Yeah.
I done knocked out 98 heads in a day.
Yeah.
In less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
So now you full-fledged.
I'm full-fledged.
barber.
I'm in that thing. I'm in there, and the
At what age was this? About
27.
27. That's a good age
26,
to know what it
yeah.
is you want at that point.
And so in 2000, right on the cusp of New Year's, going into 2000, I had desired to open my own barbershop. I was like, I need to open my own. I got the money. I can do what I want to do. And my guy Reggie, I remember Reggie. I was cutting Reggie's hair. Reggie was working for Roundy's. Roundy's. He was working third shift, and he was like, "Man, I've been cutting hair, Jeff." But he said, "But I don't want to work in none of these jackleg barbershops, man. The only barbershop I work in is yours. If you open one, so now I know I got a barber. I got a partner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was doing some stuff on the south side of Milwaukee. I was dating a chick on the south side of Milwaukee. And I just happened to be riding, and God said, "Turn right here." And I remember on 32nd and Lincoln, on the south side of Milwaukee, ain't nothing but whites and Hispanics and very little blacks. So I saw this building, and it said for rent. So I called the lady. She said, "Oh my goodness, I just left, but I can come back if you're really interested." I said, "Yes, ma'am, I'm interested." So my first barbershop in 2000 called Tight Edges Barbershop. My rent was 800, 800 a month. No, it wasn't. I'm lying. My rent was 550 in an 800 square foot building. And it was 4 chairs. I put 4 chairs in there, me, Reggie, and a couple of other guys, man, and we rocked that thing. And I expanded from that to 2,500 square feet in a year and a half.
And this was in
Milwaukee. This was on the south side of Milwaukee.
Right.
So fast forward to that. Fast forward to me coming here.
Yeah, let's get to when you came to Texas.
I closed the shop. Some things happened in Milwaukee, and I closed the shop down and moved to Milwaukee. Moved to Dallas. I moved to Dallas. I got here March 1st of 2008. And I worked at Changing Faces. He used to be in Arlington. He used to be in Fort Worth, but then he moved to open a shop in Arlington. So I happened to walk into the shop. Now, when I moved here, this is what I'm going to say. When I moved to Dallas, it was my desire to retire from cutting hair. I didn't want to cut hair no more.
Right.
I didn't want to cut hair no more.
So you moved to Dallas with the plan to do what? Just open a shop and let?
No. I was doing females' hair and all that stuff. I was out of the hair business. Okay. In my head, I was out of the hair business when I moved to Dallas. I had 2 jobs. I had a job at 24 Hour Fitness. They said they was gonna give me the job, and I had a job at Prime at the school, the high school.
Right.
I was gonna be a football coach over there. And I got to Little Rock, Arkansas, and both of those jobs called me within an hour and a half of each other and said that they had gave the job to somebody else. I'm already here. So I'm like, I'm here. I'm on my way anyway, so it don't matter. I got here and I had to figure it out. When I got to Dallas, I had $61 to my name.
Sheesh.
And I gave 31 to Junior, and I kept the other 30.
Right.
I took that 30. I went to looking around for barbershops to work at, because now I got to do what I got to do.
Yeah.
And I got the dude told me to come back Saturday, talk to the owner. I went back and talked to John. He said, "Man, when you want to start?" I said, "I'm ready. I'm ready today. I'll come back Monday. I'll let them do their thing for the weekend. I'll come back Monday." I get in that shop, man, and I took off. Understand track and field. If you understand track and field, the fastest and the better runner, the best sprinter is always in the middle lane. So the dude give me the middle chair.
The middle chair.
Give me the middle chair, the middle station. Man, I took off. And them dudes, now remember I got here March 1st.
Right.
I started working on the 6th. And the next holiday, by the time Easter came, the first week I made $527. I remember like it was yesterday, $527. And I was asking these guys, I said, "Man, how much money y'all usually make, a week cutting hair?" And, man, $300-400. I was like, "Shh, y'all tripping."
Right.
"What you mean?" I said, "Man, I ain't never, long as I've been in the industry cutting hair in a shop, I've never made under $1,000 a week." What? And now haircuts was $10, $12, $15. You know what I'm saying? And they was like, "What?" So by the time I get here, now the haircuts is $15. So I was telling the cats, I said, "All right, man, $20. I'm gonna straight raise you and everything."
Right.
$20. Everything. Same thing I do now for $50. I was doing it for $20 in 08.
Right.
Man, I took off on them cats. They didn't know what hit them. And then I left there after a year of working there because I promised the owner that I was going to stay for a year because I didn't know what my desire was. I just know I had to take care of my son.
But after that year, your bread was up.
Yeah, my bread was up. So I went to 504 in Euless. I left 504. When Junior graduated, I retired again. And during my retirement, I just, I was working car stereo stuff, and I started a car stereo shop with my guy Adam. I think his name was Adam. I don't even remember his name now. But crazy hair. His name was Bill. Crazy hair. We called him Crazy Hair. But did that, and one day I was driving on my way to Wichita Falls, and literally this is how it happened.
What happened?
I'm getting ready to tell you. God, while I was driving, God said to me, "You know you're not done yet." And I looked in the passenger seat because I felt like somebody was in the passenger. That's how loud, that's how vivid it was.
Yeah.
I look in the passenger seat, I was like, "What you want me to do?" He said, "Go back to school." So, and so I started to rebuttal how I'm gonna go back to school because I ain't paid no student loans, I ain't did this, I ain't did that, nothing. So when I looked over there, he was gone. The conversation was done.
Yeah,
he said what he said.
Yeah.
So I had no idea how this was gonna happen. So on my way back Monday morning, on my way back to Arlington, I get a phone call from the loan forgiveness program. Loan forgiveness program said if I give them $200, $199 today, and pay $99 for the next 6 months, I'll be able to go back to school in 4 months. What?
Knock that out.
Right. So I'm not tripping about the money. Mm-hmm. I'm tripping about the fact that I just said to God, "How am I gonna go back to school? You want me to go back to school? I can't get no student loan. How am I gonna get a student loan?" These people called me Monday, and so I pulled over on the highway, and I asked him to repeat it. He repeated it, and I said, "Here's my credit card number." So no sooner than I got back to Arlington, I went to Paul Mitchell to register for school. And she said, "Yeah, it's in the system. You can start school in October."
And what school this is?
Paul Mitchell's cosmetology school.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I had the barber license already.
Yeah,
I wanted to enhance. So now if I got to go back to school, I got to go in and sharpen up some stuff that I had been doing, and I don't know
what's new now.
What's new now? You know, so it was all a sharpening thing.
Right.
So I go to Paul Mitchell. I'm way ahead of these people. Way ahead of these people. I graduated from Paul Mitchell.
What year was that?
2012.
So 2012. Where did your love for cigars come from? What year did you start smoking sticks?
2 years before I decided I was going to retire from football.
You started.
2004.
I
started smoking cigars when I knew I was done. Like, I'm gonna play this semi-pro. I was playing semi-pro. Mm-hmm. I'm playing semi-pro. You know, I'm gonna stay in shape, but I ain't got to worry about this other stuff. You know, not smoking and not drinking and stuff like that.
Right.
So I wasn't doing. I never been a big drinker.
Hard, yeah.
But smoking cigars was something that I just picked up.
So now you smoking cigars.
Now I'm smoking cigars.
And you a barber.
And I'm a barber.
Okay, so because for those who know you, and just in case those been under rock and don't know,
right?
Let's fast forward a little bit. Now I'm pretty sure you had some ups and downs of being in a shop, being out of a shop. What was the thing that made you say, you know what, I could do this on a grand scale by myself,
right?
And hey, I'm gonna open up a shop. So where did the name Astute Gentleman come from? And what gave you the idea? Because I'm pretty sure it wasn't Astute Barber and Cigar at first. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure you was just...
It was actually called... I had a business plan that I wrote when I was in Milwaukee, in my first shop. Mm-hmm. And it was designed to have the spa that, you know, the men get their feet done and
for just men.
For just men. Haircuts, get your feet done, pick up, drop off service.
Right.
All of this stuff. I wrote this business plan in 2005, and it also had cigars included.
Really?
So, yeah. So I wrote that business plan in 2005, and it was called the Gentleman's Spa.
Okay.
That was the original. So when I graduated from school, I didn't want to open my own shop.
Okay.
So the business plan stayed in the vault.
Right.
And I went and tried to work at the gents' place and the boardroom, and with my experience, these people wanted to pay me 30%. They wanted to pay me $8 an hour and 30% of every haircut that I cut. Now, $55 was the minimum at the time of their lowest price, and 30% of $55 was $15.
You know, we going over an hour, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we ain't rushing nothing.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, I'm sitting back, I'm like, nah, I'm not working for no 30%.
Right.
So I went in the vault, got the business
Got
plan.
that business plan.
And I wanted to change the name of the Gentleman Spa. I took some pieces out of the Gentleman Spa, and this is what I'm gonna do. And I'm laying in the bed, and I'm looking in the thesaurus, and I'm looking distinguished gentleman, extraordinary gentleman. I was like, nah, I can't. Them don't work. Them don't work. They sound like strip joints. You know, I didn't want that. So I'm like, now I'm trying to figure out. And astute is the same as distinguished and extraordinary, but it's the highest form of the three.
Right.
So I was like, okay, astute. And I'm looking at it, astute. And I'm laying, and I remember my ex-wife, we was talking, she's like, I like astute gentleman, astute gentleman, astute gentleman. So now I had to put the rest of it together. And I woke up at 2:34. I said, baby, astute gentleman, cigar and barber lounge. She said, yes. She was a country girl. Yes, I love it. And we both went back to sleep. I got up the next morning and went and filled the paperwork out.
Wow. So, astute gentleman, let's just say, for namesake, that was your character at then.
Yes.
Then. So
yes.
you wasn't dealing with no riffraff.
Yeah.
It wasn't no thugs, no YNs, none of that. It was just like, I'm cutting hair on a distinguished level.
On the distinguished level.
No, you can't come up in my spot, music blasting, talking about whatever.
Pants sagging.
Yeah.
None of that. I used to, when I first moved into this building, when I first started Astute Gentleman, I started it in the salon suite. And I was in the salon suite for 2 years. And the salon suite was set up with the little mini bar, the floating shelves with the decanters on it, and people can come in and pour themselves a drink while they wait, you know, and I could be cutting one and one person waiting and somebody waiting in the hallway. But I would always give my guys, offer them a cigar. So I had a small humidor sitting there, and I would offer them, hey, you want to smoke a cigar? You want to smoke a cigar? Or I'll give them a cigar, and hey, on Fridays and Saturdays, when we're at the end of the night, we go out on the parking lot. So I was right here in Addison by where Whole Foods is right here.
Okay.
And 24-hour fitness was right there. AMC Theater, Raw Sushi, all that stuff. So we sit up in the parking structure and lean over and look at all the ladies walking by. And that's what and so I started doing that. And I went to one of my clients' wedding, and I met William. William rolled the cigars. William was at my guy's wedding. I got his business card. I wanted him to roll me some cigars. So now, mind you, I'm right around the corner. I'm right around the corner. And I look at the address on the card. I put it in my phone. I was 2 minutes away. So I come around the corner. I come to this building. And I tell, hey, William, how you doing, man? I want to talk to you about cigars. He said, I don't own the business. His English was horrible. He said he don't own the business no more. He had just, 3 minutes before I walked through this door, he had just sold the business to this guy named Sabino. Sabino and I talked, and by the time I left, Sabino had invited me to come over here and cut hair over here. So we said, okay, this was on a Wednesday. It was on my day off. It was on a Wednesday. He said, what are you doing Sunday? I said, nothing, man. You know, what's up? He said, let's meet Sunday. Let's talk. I told him, be here Sunday at a certain time. I came here Sunday, and I had my nephew Sonny with me. I don't know if you remember Sonny. I had my nephew Sonny with me, and Sonny kept saying, I don't like this dude. Now, rewind back to Wednesday, when Sabino and I agreed to meet Sunday. we shook hands. And when I shook his hand, God said to me, do business with him. He's going to walk away and leave you with everything.
Mm. And everybody that knows you knows this story.
Yeah.
But for those that don't know, man, the blessing of...
The blessing. And the blessing of being obedient.
Right.
So when God told me that I met with him Sunday, and when me and Sonny met with him, Sonny was like, Uncle, I don't like this guy. I said, I don't like him either. But God told me to do business with him. Mm-hmm. He was going to walk away and leave me with everything. And Sonny was like, huh? I was like, hey. So I move a month later, I move out of my salon suite, and I come over here, and I start remodeling, and things started to be kind of strange from Sabino. Put that bill in your name. Put this in your name. Do this, do this, do this. Then when we signed the new lease, he put me as the primary. He said, oh, no, you can be the primary. So I was like, and I'm thinking to myself, why is he telling me to put if we going to do this together, why is he telling me to put everything in? And God said, boy, what did I tell you? I said, you know what, you're right. So looked up, and we had the humidor. The humidor was on this side, and right here where this wall is coming up where you sitting at right there, I took the wall up, and there was an arch in the wall right here, and it was just this little area where I'm cutting at now, and then it was pool table and all that stuff back there that they had. It was horrible, but as I was doing business, I realized that I didn't know what I needed to know about the cigar community and selling cigars and whatnot. So I learned and I found out that we didn't have a permit to sell cigars. And I asked Sabino, I said, hey, what's up with this permit, man? We need to get this permit. If we don't, man, it's $5,000 a day that we selling cigars, man. We ain't got this permit. He said, don't worry about that. So I'm like, man, fuck that. I'm a businessman.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
So I call Texas Comptroller, and I spoke to the lady, and I told her, I said, listen, I'm a felon. I don't know. I just would like to know if I can get it. She said, oh, you can get it. How long has it been? I said, 94, 96, whatever, something like that. And she was like, she said, that long as it wasn't a drug crime, you don't have nothing to worry about. I was like, oh, okay. So I fill out the paperwork. He walked in here one day, and the permit was on the wall.
Wow.
At that point, he was out of business.
Yeah, he was gone.
He was done.
Oh, your name was on everything.
My name on everything.
Right.
So he eventually left after trying to do an insurance scam and breaking in and stealing the TVs off the wall and all kind of silly stuff. And when God tell you to do something,
better do it.
You do it. He don't tell you what it come with.
Yeah.
He just tell you to do it.
Yeah.
It's going to be yours. And he said he going to walk away and leave you with everything. So after he did the insurance scam, we put a no trespassing against him, and the city did that. The city of Farmers Branch told him he couldn't be over here no more. I was just like, wow. He said this was going to happen. And he didn't say how ugly it was going to be, nothing. He just said it was going to happen.
He told you to get up in this, get it. He said, gonna leave it till you take it.
Yeah. And so now here we are 12 years later.
Astute gentleman.
Astute gentleman. We still here, 10 years in this building that God told me the man was going to walk away and leave me with everything. And I've been in here for 10 years.
And as a customer, as someone who, I call this my second home.
Yeah.
I tell people this is my second home. Like, I might need to go and throw you a couple of dollars to get some stock in this motherfucker. But since you've been here, now we at the meat and potatoes. We here. Right. The 12 years, Astute Gentleman, Barber Cigar Lounge, right here at the address. Kick it one more time.
Yeah, 14223 Inwood Road, Farmers Branch, Texas, 75244.
It has been some remarkable times in there. Now this last couple of minutes, these few minutes, we going to run over out.
Yeah.
Because it's your story.
Yeah, we're going to run over.
Now we finna get to the meat and potatoes and tell about the great things that have happened in here.
So to get to the meat and potatoes.
Okay, now first of all, you had to rebuild this.
Yeah.
And you built this brick by brick by yourself.
Everything. I built the new humidor. I built the humidor. If y'all been here, the humidor that you see, I built this humidor in 3 days.
And I know you ain't lying, because I done came in here and I done seen you jack these walls up like two-man Tanner, and I'm like, bro, what do you do? What is this? Oh man, about 2 or 3 days it's gonna be this.
Yeah.
And I be damn, 2 or 3 days. Yeah. It look raggedy but anything that you build.
Yeah.
Think about Legos.
Yeah.
When you got to build a spaceship out of Legos, it's just a whole bunch of pieces.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's gonna turn into a spaceship, a house, or whatever you build.
Yeah.
But it's been times I've come in here and sockets been jacked up, a light hanging from here, a ceiling fan dangling, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing in there? And it's like, I got it. I'm about to change this. I'm about to switch this up.
So I built the humidor. Saturday, I get off work at 6. I'm done cutting at 6. Saturday, I had over the course of about 2 weeks, I had bought the glass, had the people make the glass for me. I took the door off of the old humidor. So Saturday, when I got off at 6, I had all this wood back there. And I got off at 6, I started tearing down the old humidor. By the time I tore that humidor down and threw all that wood away that I didn't need, it was 1 o'clock in the morning. And then I framed up the big wall that's about 8 inches from. It's an 8-inch wall, but it's about 4 inches from the glass right there. I framed that up, put that in, went home and went to sleep. Got back up 9 o'clock Sunday morning, came back up here and started framing off everything else, putting the glass in and fitting the door in. And by the time I left Sunday night, I had a humidor.
Right.
And then Monday, when I came in, I came in Monday early. I started cutting at 12. I got here at 9. I started framing, putting the trim on and everything else and putting the shelves in. And my first client came in, Chris Jackson. He said, bro, that wasn't there last week. I said, yeah, I just did that. He said, dude, you did this in 2 days? I said, yeah.
Wow.
He said, what the and he just walked around here and he just started looking. Every time he come in, he's seeing changes. He's like, dude, take it easy. Take it easy. I said, take it easy. I'm not doing nothing. He said, man, you moving too fast. I was like, moving too fast. I'm moving according to,
God's plan.
God's plan,
Come on now.
So, just 2 years ago, I built the speakeasy wall.
Right.
And when I built the speakeasy wall, I knew that I had made it to my point. Yeah. And that was my final destination. I made it there, and now it was just about fulfilling the rest of the dream.
So, I remember, and I don't know the year. So when next door to the Astute,
18.
Okay, that was 2018?
Yes, sir.
So 2018, roughly around the time when I started coming in here,
right, you
had the spot next door.
Yeah.
So let me just tell y'all, when I first started coming in here, the barbershop as those who come in here see it is not how it was. It was, that wall wasn't there. And so there was another side, which is a building next door, where you could go through the barbershop, bust a right, and it was a lounge. I'm talking about it at a stage. It looked like one of those old school cotton clubs. And for those who remember it, who are tuning in, know that I'm not lying. It's like once you went over there was a plush tables, there was a little stage, there was the leather seats, there was the little booths, and it was just a good time in here. To come here in 2018 and see something like this, I had never seen it before. Yeah. So 2018 in Dallas, I will challenge anybody to come in here or go tell some of your friends if you're watching and say, nah, this is already, they had it. No, they did not.
No.
This is nothing that Dallas had ever seen before.
No.
This was a vibe. It was a place to come and relax. And then it drew the cigar connoisseurs.
Yeah.
So you could come in here. Nobody ain't never seen where you could sit and wait. Have a cigar, have you a shot.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, truth be told, if it's okay for me to say this, it wasn't just overly priced.
Mm-mm.
So it was guys that was like, yeah, I smoke cigars, I like a little drink, but I have to sit and wait to get my hair cut and all of the noise, little kids running around. And it was like, You mean to tell me for damn near the same price I'm just getting this fade or this haircut or this straight edge, I can come to this place over here off of Inwood and there's gonna be a barber in there that's gonna that got what I like, cigars, and I'm gonna get a little shot of something to sip on. Oh man, this is the dream.
Right.
So once word got out that a spot like this was open, it was takeoff after that. All I remember is coming in here and it just be packed. It was just smoky in this joint.
Yeah.
At the time, the girlfriend I had, she used to tell me, she said, when you tell me you going to hang out with Jeff, I know you ain't lying. Because you come back here smelling like any kind of cigar that's possibly, and it was just like, it had became for me, and this is when I'm going to give you your flowers. It had became a haven and a safe space where gentlemen would just, and I'm not talking about riffraff. It is some grown activity that goes on here at the Astute Gentleman Barber Cigar Lounge, and the name totally fits it. Astute Gentleman. Since I've been knowing you, I've never heard, and we talk often, and you ain't never called me and say, man, dude came in here with a gun. Dang, dude and his wife was in here getting into it. It is a safe place for people, and now the ladies come. The female cigar smokers, community is starting to blossom now.
They were coming when I had the Jazz Lounge next
door. Oh
yeah,
brother. Them Cowboy Sundays.
Oh my goodness, we would do the first ever all day tailgate party.
Man,
it was right here at Astute Gentleman.
Diggs on the ones and twos. Shout out to DJ Diggs and J Rock for cutting up on the ones and twos. I mean, when a commercial break hit, it was a party in here. Yeah. The game take a commercial break and they get them boys would get to cutting up on them ones and twos, and it was a party in here to the point to where the previous podcast that I was on, we set up shop in here, and let me tell you about this man over here. He was generous. Like most places where you do a podcast, you got to charge a fee. Well, I don't know. You go ask that guy, if he was, but we did it. He was just like, hey, just as long as y'all pump up the shop where y'all at, it's cool. And when that fell apart, bro, I'll never forget. Something happened on that show. And I'm not belittling nobody. I'm not here that's not what today is about. Yeah. But something happened on that show to where I just couldn't take it no more. And live during the podcast,
got up and walked off.
Jeff was cutting hair in here. He had clientele in here. They was in there smoking, drinking, doing their thing. Our podcast was in the back. Yeah. And something weird happened. I couldn't take it no more. Live during the podcast, I took my earphones off and I stormed up out of here. I shot past Jeff so fast. He said, Fre, where you going? Nah. And when he found out that I was done with that, I didn't want to do it no more. I was cool on that. He said, no. We can do it. Yeah. We talk, we could do it. Yeah. And so I just remember how this dude in my life, since me and Jeff have been friends, this dude has never let me let myself down. Yeah. It's been harsh conversations where, hey, get up off your ass. Come on, dog. Yeah. Come on, let's get it. Things that he's seen in me, push that. I need that out, bro. What are you waiting on?
And that's that part of when God told me that I wasn't done yet. Mm-hmm. There was from that day. In that whole entire week of me enrolling in school and all of that, there was some very intricate things that was said to me and that I began to understand. And what I understood, my ex-wife at the time, my wife at the time, she said, your life is going in a circle and I don't want to be a part of that. Mm. And God instantly said, the reason your life is going in a circle is because you're doing what you're supposed to do. You're just not doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Hmm. So that and Astute Gentleman and where we are now I'm doing it the way it's supposed to be done. Right. This is a ministry. I've saved lives in here.
I truly believe that.
Yeah, I've helped people. Astute Gentleman is me being a stand-up, being a soldier for myself and for God first. Right. But showing people, and look, I ain't perfect. Right. I ain't perfect, but I know the word. Right. So when I know the word, I'm supposed to be giving the word. when you know something, you're supposed to be passing it on.
Yeah, man.
You know, and so I that's what I did, and I can tell you, bro, I've literally saved lives.
Yeah.
I had a client sitting outside in the parking lot with a gun in his mouth. You know, so it's this is my ministry.
Right.
So I'm doing what at 14 God told me I was gonna do.
That and see,
You know,
you got to go through your ups and downs. You got to go through the obstacles. You got to go through the test. So the testimony,
exactly,
is not in vain.
It's not in vain.
And I remember when that situation next door closed down.
Right.
And you didn't lose nothing.
Didn't lose nothing.
We had some great times, great memories.
Yeah.
But when that went down and that fickle, God told you, you shut that off. And it has been, like I tell people all the time, you can have a 2-story house, 18 rooms, pool, theater room, all of that. And if it ain't no love in there, no character, no substance in there, you just got a big house.
Yeah.
I remember one time I had this 1-bedroom apartment, man. It was a box, like it was a sweat box. I could touch it from wall to wall. But I would pack that apartment out with my friends, and we would watch movies. We would paint. We would sit out on the patio, smoke cigars if they were smoking whatever they was on. And it was just always good times in that box.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's what happened when you ended up, when that fizzled out, the little lounge area on the other side, and this what we standing and sitting in right now became what it was. Yeah, brother, we have had way more good times in here than we did over there. And brother, I have been here for fights. Yeah. I've been here for football parties. I have been here for cookouts in the back, which we going in the back there. That's where it's going down Saturday.
Hey, look, if you ain't been here and been to an Astute Gentleman event, if you have heard about them, you have to see about them.
You have to see about them. So please, help us celebrate, bro. This is boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground. Western wear. Mo, I want to see you in your cowboy boots, bro.
I ain't
cowboy boots and cowboy hat. Man, you better, man.
I'm not coming. I'll do the best I can, but look, let me tell you something. I'm very heat in nature, bro.
Right.
And this is Texas.
Yeah.
This is Texas.
This is Texas.
So,
yeah, for sure.
But I will be here to celebrate. More the body gonna be here. I might not be Jew like Cowboy. Yeah. And that's another thing. We'll be celebrating his birthday too. But
yeah, we'll be Western GQ.
Western GQ. I'm not.
Rich, if you know who D Rich is, D Rich turned
Google
56. Google him. Yeah. D Rich turned 56 on the 2nd. We celebrating his birthday party along with my 12-year anniversary. We got Prince DJ from Memphis coming down to perform live. It's gonna be like a mini concert.
Diggs, are you gonna be on the ones and twos for this? Oh my God! If you ain't never been to an event where Diggs DJs, I know. I see. I could be a DJ if I wanted to, just because of my knowledge of music. But Diggs is that DJ. Diggs is that dude to where he ain't, if it's dead in here. Matter of fact, it ain't gonna be dead when Diggs on the ones. But he's not one of them DJs when everybody's sitting down. He finna line dance you to death. He not that. It's gonna be a party when my brother gets on the ones and twos. But Diggs gonna be in the building on the ones and twos back there.
Diggs gonna be on the ones and twos. The Fishers gonna be with the. They're gonna be setting up. I'm gonna have the food truck with my guy Charles. Charles makes some fantastic food. Man, come in, listen. $20 at the door. All you can drink. The Echelon bourbon, the Black Label, Echelon Black Label, brandy. We got the Precise tequila. There's also a Astute Gentleman brand. Listen, come and enjoy, and sip, and enjoy. And sip and
celebrate with your boy, man. 12 years, man. Look,
12 years.
12 years a milestone, and then it's only up from here, bro. Do y'all hear what this man just said? Astute brand. Everything. Astute brand. Astute brand cigars. Astute brand brandy. Is that the brandy? Oh, come on, dog.
Pecan. It's a pecan brandy.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be nice.
Pecan brandy.
I ain't even had that.
The Black Label, the Echelon Black Label. Then we got the Echelon bourbon, and then we got the Precise tequila, which is an Snoop brand as well.
So within this amount of time that you've told your life to the world, to everybody that's watching, do you really see how blessed you are?
Yes, sir. Yes,
and,
sir.
and with
Yes,
that
sir.
being said, just listening to his testimony, the one thing I get out of all of this as I'm sitting here talking to you, because some of this stuff I didn't know, that's why I'm asking. The thing about it is, when God speaks, listen. Sometimes God tell you to move, and it's not to say, let me go get my team. God gave you some instructions. You best be standing on God's business and take care of the business that he told you to do. A lot of people, I think a lot of people, real quick, and this is where we get us.
Right.
I think a lot of people hear the word of God. A lot of people listen, but you still want to do it your way.
Your way.
And when you do it your way, you continue to have those obstacles. And because people are afraid of the unknown.
Right.
That man, the Lord told you to do something. Your nephew tried to tell you, I don't like that dude. You said you didn't like the man either.
Yeah.
But him leaving you with that probably had to be scary. Let's just keep it 100.
Well,
The fear of not knowing. Somebody about to leave you something.
What it's going to be like when they leave.
Right.
Yeah. It wasn't, I wasn't afraid. I just, you don't know what's going to happen, how it's going to happen. What damage is it going to cause? Yeah, you don't know that. But what I do know is if God told me to do it, he already prepared me for whatever's getting ready to happen.
Right.
So I wasn't afraid at all. It was just, okay, let's go.
It had to be done.
It had to be done. What needed to be done. However it happened, and I was prepared for it. I didn't miss a beat. When he left, I didn't miss a beat, bro.
Right.
I didn't miss a beat. Diggs to tell you, when we had a band, we had a two-piece band over here in the corner. I didn't miss a beat, bro. I didn't miss a beat, man. We did this thing, man. I did this thing. I had a couple of guys help me, and when you bring people in, you don't know what their motives are. But I in my head I needed an understanding of what the cigar community, because I didn't know nobody in the cigar community.
Right. You know them now.
I know everybody.
They in here.
I know everybody. I know
Right.
everybody now. I know all of the cigar lounges that opened after me. I know the one that opened before me, and we talking about black-owned cigar lounges. There's only one black-owned cigar lounge that's older than me. He like 6 months older than me.
But he not cutting hair in
He
there.
not cutting nobody here. Nobody,
And
no cigar lounge in the state of Texas will ever be allowed to have a barber in it.
And that's because you're grandfathered in. Now
and I'm
explain
grandfathered in.
Since when?
Since I think it happened like 3 to 4 years ago.
When they was like, boom, we can't touch it, can't make you change nothing.
What happened?
It is what it is.
Yeah, what happened was guys were coming to me and they, oh man, I love this and I love this, and I got a slick mouth, and I understand, when I know jaw jacking when I see it, when I hear it. Man, I had a dream that I opened up something like this, and I told the dude, I said, you didn't have a dream that you opened up something like this. You had a dream that you walked in here.
Right. And the Fishers just said they got the fans.
Oh yeah,
so,
they got the fans.
So the question won't be where them fans at, because the Fishers said they got them.
But so and I mean, people were saying this, and what was happening, instead of guys coming to ask me and talking to me, and hey man, I want to be able to do something like this. How can I do something like this?
They was behind your back.
They was going behind my back and
trying to do
it and going to the state board. So what the state boards did was, nobody can do this. We don't want, because they was worried about the kids,
right,
and the smoking and so on and so forth. So at that point, and the only reason I found out, because I was at Enfuego up in Murphy, and talking to the owner, me and him cool, and he was like, yeah man, so how's everything going over there, blah blah blah. He said, I was trying to get a barber set up in here, but the state board won't let me.
Bueno, yeah.
Yeah, and so when he said that to me, he said, yeah, they some kind of new law they made.
Grandfather
yeah. So I go look it up. Sure as shit. And so I'm grandfathered in. I'm already, at that point, I'm already 9 years in business.
Right.
You can't tell me. Now, my grandfather as well now is only in this building. Only in this building. So me know that I can't leave this building. My landlord gave me a new lease, and he said, 4 years. I said, nah, I need more than 4 years.
Wow.
I need more than 4 years. He said, well, we don't know what it's going to be like in 5 or 6 years. I said, you don't know what it's going to be like in 4 years.
Wow.
He said, you're absolutely right, Jeff. What'd you want? I said, 7.
Easy.
Easy. He said, you got it. 7, the number of completion, brother.
There it is.
I'm cool. 7 years. 7 years in business will put me at 19 years in business.
In this one building.
In this one building.
Man. And it's only up from here, bro.
Yeah,
like the statutes of a limitation is over. So I'm going to throw this out here, too, if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Bruh, you did not close during COVID.
No, sir.
So
No,
let's
sir.
put
No,
during
sir.
COVID,
No,
you
sir.
wasn't supposed to have no barbershops, no beauty. You were active through
Yes,
COVID.
sir.
Now we're
Through
not gonna
COVID.
tell you the slick way we did it.
I'm
but-
gonna tell it. It wasn't statute of limitations.
Yeah.
That was 20.
Yeah.
it was-
During
and
COVID, you didn't close. Didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss a beat. So what I did, I put a big old piece of plastic over my window, and so my open sign comes on automatically. It's on the timer. So the dude came by, the fire marshal came by. He said, "Are you open?" I was like, "No, I'm not." You know, and luckily I didn't have nobody in. He said, "Well, your open sign is on." Gotcha. So because I know that they can't see in here because of the tent. But what I did was put the plastic, a piece of black plastic, over the window and pull it all the way down to the ground, and I turned my open sign off. And everybody that wanted to get a haircut just called me and let me know, and I was letting them in the back door. So they was parking in the back, and there was one person at a time. Every 30 minutes. So every 30. So I clean up, sweep up, spray it down, and all that
everybody
stuff.
was real COVID scared back then. And it was dangerous because even me being an essential worker at the time, I remember riding out at 6 o'clock in the morning. And COVID was a freaky time, bro. Because I remember on the street, and I was the only car out there that time in the morning. And I remember getting pulled over by the police several times. I just had to have this little piece of paper that they gave essential workers saying, "Hey, I'm headed to work," blah blah blah. But to not miss it, you know how many people can if they ever did a documentary on COVID, they're gonna say how much they lost, and it was But brother, by the grace of God,
people that closed down,
people it never shook back. Yeah, like never came back. But when you talk about the grace of God, and even though that was wrong because your behind was supposed to be closed,
right?
You didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss a beat, bro. I didn't miss
when you told me that, you like, hey man, I called you hey, you all right over there? You got your mask on? And I'm hearing clippers. What you doing? You cutting your own hair? No, hey, I'll call you back. I got a client. I'm like, bro, you ain't supposed to be doing what
man.
Didn't miss a beat.
Didn't miss. Listen, and I was blessed to have a landlord that understood what was going on, and he said, Jeff, for 3 months I'm not gonna charge you no late fees. Pay me what you can. And you won't have no late fees for 3 months.
During COVID? Yeah.
I said, my man, thank you.
Bruh.
He called me. I didn't call him. He called me. All I could say was, this is how God works.
Right.
You know, I'm supposed to be here.
True.
I'm supposed to be here.
And as we dwindle this thing on down, I just want to tell you on air, you hear it all the time from me. But from me to you, brother, I appreciate you for everything that Astute has done for me.
Yes, sir.
I ain't never came in here and got a haircut.
Yes, sir.
But I tell you what, I am a more astute gentleman.
Yes, sir.
Because I've sat in here. All of my real true friends, and friends is such a word thrown loosely, all my friends are older gentlemen. So I just want to say, hats off to you for 12. Man, milestone, we finna take off to 12 more.
Yes, sir.
But me coming in here, I have learned so much from sitting under you, Chris Crazy behind when he in here. I've gained some brothers in Diggs, and just a few of the Nick when he was barber in here.
Yeah.
I mean when he was bartender in
bartender,
here.
Yeah, bartender.
And you know, just guys that have come through here, and this has been a safe haven. It is actually the Steel Till headquarters.
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know, when I came to you and said I wanted to do that, you said have it here. And I remember the first year I did Steel Till, great turnout. Yeah. Man, we partied back there. Yeah. And it was a success, man. And then you just said, hey, bro, from now on, Steel Till headquarters right here. Yeah. We have 2 great memorable photos of everybody that came out. We have photos of actually being in here. Yeah. And it's a safe space. It's no riffraff. And if you are a grown man who really wants to sit up under some wisdom, there's always some gray bearded fella in here that's gonna tell. And not only that, they just not in here talking. These are businessmen. These are lawyers, doctors. These are people who have something that you can look at and say, yeah, I will follow you. I will listen to you. Yeah. And by the grace of God, and Rashad is watching, he said also, congratulations. Rashad has moved around the corner. I told him there ain't no reason why you can't get these nuggets. You in walking distance from your uncle. Yeah. And so even when he comes in here, you see how he lights up? Just being in, and he don't know nothing about cigars. He try to sit in there and smoke his little cigars, and he's in here with us. And my son is 28 now, and he's like, man, I'm gonna go see Unc. I'm gonna just go pop up on him, and cause he know when he come in here, you gonna give him some solid. Now you done told him some things. I'll be like, when we leave here, I'll be like, don't listen to that nigga. Listen to your daddy. Don't listen to Jeff. But nah, we have had great laughs in here, and I look forward to many more memories. God willing, as long as I'm alive, Astute Gentleman is home. I congratulate you on all of the endeavors that you have done to make not only Astute the barbershop and a cigar lounge, but the brands really trying to make it a household name. And I am more than grateful and happy to have Astute on anything. And this is home, bro. This is home. I love you to death, man, and I congratulate you. I see what you're doing, and from the time that I've known you, you've just been pushing. Yeah. And even if you done slipped and bumped your head, you know you got a solid crew behind you. You know your day ones. You know the ones that you can call and say, hey, get that done. Yeah. Now that I'm in this HVAC thing, how many times, Fre, this AC ain't working. Get somebody, So it's like it's all about building relationships, and this is a place to do so. Yeah. And I'm thankful that you created a safe place and a haven because it's your ministry. Yeah. And that's it, man. I salute you, my guy.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it, man. I appreciate all the love. Everybody, man. Look, if you ain't doing nothing, man, come hang out with your boy Saturday night. Come hang out with your boy.
Run that address.
14223 Inwood Road, Farmers Branch, Texas. 8 o'clock. We're going to be here. We're going to kick it. We're going to enjoy. We're going to have a great time. We're going to listen to some good music. The DJ, my boy Prince DJ, going to swing down from Memphis and perform for us. Get ladies, get your Daisy Dukes and your boots.
Boots and
fellas,
Dukes.
Get your cowboy hats and come in. Western GQ. Hey, listen. So I'm right quick before we bounce out. Western GQ. If you don't know who Western GQ is, go look him up. If anybody comes dressed better than Western GQ, I'm gonna give you $100.
Ain't happening.
I know.
Ain't happening.
But
that brother had some jewels hanging from his shades on one. I said, this man here. I'm pretty sure he got some diamond studded spurs, probably.
Yeah, that dude.
He the truth.
But man, come and enjoy and chill out with us, man.
Yeah.
Come enjoy and chill out with us. It's gonna be a great time. And this is a segue into some other things that I got going on later on in the year. So yeah, come and enjoy Astute Gentleman 12-year celebration and Western GQ's 56th birthday and Prince DJ all the way from Memphis coming to perform live. Cut a Rug tour.
Yeah, bro.
Starts right here. The Cut a Rug tour starts
Cut a
right
Rug
here.
tour. Bro, you remember that time? The all-white party? Man, that brother had a saxophone. See, anybody pops up in here.
Yeah.
Brother had a saxophonist that held a note for about 15 to 20 minutes. Am I lying?
Yes, sir.
Am I lying? Did he not?
One note.
For about
15 minutes. One note.
We was outside, and the brothers that was inside had to come outside to see who was this brother. That brother held a saxophone note for at least 15, 20 minutes, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That was
Chris.
wild.
Saxophone, sax man Chris. What's
Who's
up? Chris
who in
Mitchell.
the zoo? You never know who
Yes,
coming
yeah.
in the stoop. So.
Exactly. And this is Barbershop Talk.
Yes, sir.
I'm the barber,
I'm the artist.
and we out.
Peace.
Peace.
Wait. Hold on here. Is this the barbershop? Is this the barbershop?
Yes,
Shop,
yes,
this is the barbershop. This ain't nothing but healthy conversation. It ain't nobody